time has come, everybody. So I basically did a 50-day caffeine fast. Not essentially, because caffeine is also in chocolate, and I have been kind of indulging in chocolate. So I basically did a caffeine fast. I basically always do a caffeine fast for like 6 days, because every Saturday, or most likely every Saturday, I will do a caffeinated coffee, and then Sunday through Friday is decaf coffee. But for Lent, I quit caffeine. I did not do energy drinks. I did not do caffeine. I did not even do decaf coffee. All I had was chocolate. So I basically quit caffeine for 40 days of Lent. And then I also did a extended fast of 10 more days, which consisted of the 50 days of the caffeine fast. So basically I quit caffeine for 50 days with no decaf, no caffeine, just chocolate. But I'm not having a lot of chocolate, so overall I'm not having tons of caffeine, so it's not affecting me. But I do have chocolate pancakes every morning, which does consist about 15 milligrams of caffeine, but it's not a significant amount. So basically I don't rely on caffeine. So this is going to be my first sip in around 50 days. Yes, I took my first cup of decaf coffee last Wednesday, which was about a week and a half ago. So this is my first cup of caffeinated coffee ever since that 50 day, which is now probably like 54 days now, 55 days of no caffeine or no caffeinated coffee. So it's really a big thing. I would say coffee is really a big social aspect in many people's lives. You go to a coffee shop, and what do you do at a coffee shop? You'll have a coffee with somebody, you'll chat with somebody, you'll catch up with somebody that you haven't seen in a long time. You'll actually be more productive maybe at a coffee shop working on something, or you just want to sit back and relax. Coffee is a big thing for many people. It really is. It's like, I need to have my first cup of coffee. It's like a morning ritual, something that you have in both of your hands, that you have. It's hot, it just has that richness that you are desired in the morning, and you just love the taste. This is a ritual for most people, and this is something that most people do not want to give up, because first off, they rely on it for energy, and if they don't have it, they also start to get headaches and everything like that. So this is definitely a ritual for most people. And so taking it away would be like taking, I don't know, like something away that I really enjoy. And so this, it would be my first cup. So what I did instead, I did not do Death Wish coffee here. Death Wish is about 400 something milligrams of caffeine. I'm easing my way back into it, because what I have noticed is when I would just do decaf coffee over the few days, my stomach's been getting more irritated, because what caffeine does, it acts as a natural laxative, essentially. Well, it's not really natural, but it acts as a laxative. And so if I did this might be a little bit too much of a laxative, and so I do not want to do Death Wish coffee just yet. So I opted for a little bit of Community Coffee New Orleans Dark Roast Blend instead of Death Wish, because this one is 100 or something, and then this one is like 400 something, and then this one I think is a light maple pecans, a light roast, which consists of about 120 milligrams. So I want to ease back into it. I might not even drink this full cup of coffee, because it's just, I gotta ease back into it. But I'm just curious of how it's going to affect my bowel movements, how it's going to affect my hunger, how it's going to affect my work productivity, how it's going to affect my sleep tonight, how it's also going to affect how I feel throughout the day, and actually how I feel tomorrow. Because what I noticed was every time I did caffeine Saturday, you know what would happen? I would feel very sluggish the next day after. I would feel very tired. I don't know if it's because the quality of sleep I got was very terrible. I don't know if it's because of the sleep, like the sleep quality I got was really bad, or the way I slept was really bad, or just how much energy the caffeine gave me yesterday just kind of put me in a slump. So basically like quitting caffeine. So I wonder how it's going to affect my productivity for the day and everything like that. So I'm just quite curious, but I'm gonna have my first sip once I stir this up, and then see how it tastes. I'm actually just do it right now just cause I can. Not as good as I remember, to be honest with you. It's not what I was really like hoping for, you know. It's not like the first sip of when I had decaf coffee, but it's still a good thing, and still kind of like a morning ritual, I guess. But not as good as I remember. Might be a little bit too dark roast. Maybe I like light roast better now, but who really knows? So we got the coffee all now stirred up, and it tastes pretty decent now. It has the stevia all blended up, but I am rocking the new orange split shorts. the boa split shorts. I'm glad I got these because I needed some new pairs. I only had the sushi, the blue Nike ones, and the pizza ones. So I needed some new ones. And these actually feel a lot shorter than they normally do. And they feel like they split a little bit like sooner. It's still a 1-inch split though. But it just feels different. And I like the different thing. But I also want to try Soar shorts. Those $150 marathon shorts. Because those just seem very, very good. Yeah, you know Seth's shorts? They're $150. You know his marathon shorts where he runs up Pikes Peaks and stuff? Yeah, those are $150. It's crazy. And then they have other ones where it's like $150. Okay, everybody, so I barely had a little bit of this coffee, and I'm literally already starting to feel the jitters of it. I'm already starting to feel a big energy boost, and so that literally makes me want to try caffeine every single day. Literally have caffeine every single day, every morning, because it just gives me that energy. It gives me that pump. It helps me have more energy. It literally does. What caffeine is, it's a stimulant. That was once banned in the Olympics. It was banned by WADA. It was banned by so many things because of the effect it gave on athletes. Now it's a limit of like 800 milligrams per like something, and yeah, something like that. It's now banned a little bit, or like there's a limit. But now I literally feel the jitters of just having a tiny bit of caffeine. But the thing is, if I had it every single morning, what would happen? My addiction would start to kick in. I would have withdrawals if I tried to quit. I would have massive headaches if I quit. I would also just not feel the same, and I would not feel the same if I had a cup of coffee. I would literally have to take 200 milligrams to feel the effects, then 300 milligrams to feel the effects, then 400, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. And so that is what would happen if I tried to do that, because the effects would literally go down. It would literally change, and I wouldn't feel like I would be getting the effects. But this is what I've been missing, guys. What I've been missing for 50 days. Like, literally, I am pumped. I am pumped. This is just like what caffeine does to me. It literally just kind of like changed. I always thought about quitting it because it's like I don't need to like really like have it, but like this is why I have it, because of caffeine Saturdays. And when I get back to running, that's also why I'm gonna have it, because literally when I run I'm gonna have more energy when I have caffeine Saturday, or a little bit of caffeine, because literally it is changing the way I'm literally being productive. So everybody, we are about to film a podcast. So far, the energy is kind of like it's really like it's making me very jittery, but my brain fog is really severe right now. Like, I have severe brain fog, and I really just are super hyper focused on one thing, and then I become super jittery and super like my energy really changes, and then I really become super like energized on another thing. So my energy really kind of focuses and shifts very quickly and changes up so quickly, and so the energy that I'm like feeling is very jittery. It's very good. It feels like I have caffeine in the system, but it just feels very different. Like, I'll be super hyper focused on one thing, and I'll be very fast at it, very efficient at it, but then I'll be super hyper focused on something else very quickly. Like, my energy will very shift a lot. What?
You mind walking a little bit? Because I feel like I know a good private spot to.
Yeah, I don't mind a little walking a little bit. So we are actually filming a podcast, so like not in our room, not even on our porch, but we are actually filming one. We are driving to a lake where we do like runs and stuff, where it has trails and whatnot. Hopefully we will not be bothered by insects or bugs or people, and we can actually film a podcast. But yeah, speaking of the energy, it's great, but it's not like if I did caffeine every day, I would definitely be more reliant on it, and it would not be super beneficial, super good, because my mind would start to be very like withdrawal to it. I will start to be very like super hyper focused. The only way I can get energy is caffeine. The only way I can do this is with caffeine. No, without it, I could not do it. I could not have the energy I would want. I could not have the energy I could do I cannot get the energy I want with doing it with just food. I have to rely on caffeine. So if I did that every day, and so it would not be the smartest thing. So everybody, we have made it to the podcast spot. I have not been here in a long time. This literally, I haven't ran here in a long time, and I haven't been to this trail in a very long time. We gotta walk a little to get to this podcast spot. And the bad thing is about filming a podcast here is that me and Matthew are going to feel like we're gonna have to film a podcast here every single time. And then one thing I am scared about right now is snakes, because it is the time for snakes. Literally, I ran here a year ago, right before we went to Tunica Hills, which is like a park we go to if you want to get some good elevation and some good hills and whatnot, because literally Louisiana is so flat, so Tunica is a great place to go because it has good hills and good terrain and really technical trails if you are training for that, because they don't really keep up with it. But we are at this trail that I have not been to in a long time, since probably like August something. I truly do not remember how long it's been, but I know it was the last time I've been to this trail was around August time. He found a salamander, so that could mean a snake, but who knows. But I have not officially been to this trail, I know, since August, because the last time I really did the gym and really been to Planet Fitness and been walking on these trails to think I could get back to running and all of that, that was the last time I've been on this trail and the trails down here. And so this will be the first time I'm going on this trail in such a long time. So it's bringing back some good memories, but also some bad memories, because I had some very hard workouts here, a bunch of trail stuff, and literally some bad experience, but mostly good experience with that. But I am glad I'm here because it's bringing back some run memories, and I kind of wish I was running, because those run memories are just amazing, and I wish I could be running on this trail right now, not necessarily walking, because it's so fun to just go out for a run. But the weird thing is, when I'm counting this walk on Strava right now, and so literally the weird thing is that the Strava maps have changed. So a year ago when I ran on this trail, the Strava map literally looks so different. And so when I upload this Strava walk, it's going to look so different, because what Strava did was they actually put the lakes that are around this area into the map. They also put the trails that are in this area onto the map. So when I ran here last year, and when I ran and walked recently on these trails, actually like a long time ago, they didn't have the trail markers. They didn't also have the lakes here. Now that they do, they changed all my maps, and they look so different from the last time I saw them. But so this map is gonna look much more weird. But I'm glad they did that update, because I like to see the lakes, I like to see the trails and whatnot. But we are about to film a podcast. I think it's podcast number 15 though. Hello everybody, we have just finished the podcast. We have also just finished eating lunch. It's kind of a late lunch, but we have just finished all of that. I have noticed that the caffeine did affect my appetite just a little bit, because I would normally feel a tad bit hungrier, but I had a little bit more energy filming the podcast, much more focused filming the podcast, I did feel like personally. But one thing that I did notice was that my energy dropped kind of during the podcast, kind of significantly, and I felt really tired after the podcast. And so that's like coming to my conclusion that maybe that the caffeine is causing an energy crash, which is normal. When the adrenaline or whatever that drug, that hormone that comes to your brain that produces a feeling of tiredness, will start to flood your brain at a normal rate. But what happens when caffeine does that, it will block those receptors, and when the caffeine wears off, it's gonna start to flood your brain really rapidly and cause the energy crash. So I think that is what's happened. But right now, I am going to go to Cece's Coffee House, not to go get a coffee, but to just actually be productive. Feel like I'm actually being productive just because I can, and because I don't know, there's something about a coffee house that literally makes me feel like I'm doing something good for my productivity or something like that. But that's just like a weird conclusion to my head, but yeah. We are off to the coffee shop, but I was scratching myself because I had a little itch and on my quad, and I scratched and I see a bunch of red on both of my quads, and when I scratched my left quad, I was like, that hurts a little bit. And so I think when I was filming the podcast, I think my quads got a little bit sunburned, and so that maybe mean my forearms got a little bit sunburned, my calves got a little bit sunburned because I guess the UVs were kind of crazy today. But yeah, I mean, oh well. I mean, it means that I'm gonna get a good tan maybe if I keep care of it or keep track of it or whatever. But we are off to the coffee shop, hopefully to be productive, because it just feels like I've done nothing today overall. And because I filmed the podcast, and when I film the podcast, I just feel like I have done nothing all day. Then when I came home, I cooked and ate, and just feels like I've been doing nothing all day. But what I do notice when I do have caffeine though, I'm much more super like not focused. Like it feels like I'm not doing nothing, and sometimes I can get super hyper focused on my phone and start really just being focused on my phone and start scrolling. But we are off to the coffee shop to hopefully get some work done and edit some podcasts, because literally I don't have a podcast for tomorrow, and tomorrow is actually Sunday, so we need to get that uploaded. But yeah, you're very highly educated to work at that bike shop. Like, I wonder what the interview is like to work at a bike shop like that. You probably have to be just very, very educated, like, at bikes. Like, I don't even know how you get that educated. There was something I was going to tell you, but I totally forgot. Like, you just have to be educated at what you do. You have to know what you're saying. You have to know. It's almost like that.
What you doing?
It's crazy how sunburned I hurt.
I know.
Sunburned I hurt.
I'm sunburned too. That podcast really killed my legs, and low-key my arms are really sunburned too. They're kind of sunburned.
No, it's bad. My legs.
Alright, I'll probably head to the grocery store.
I think I'm heading home.
You think you're heading there?
Heading home. Unless you want me to go.
You can.
Do you want me to?
Kind of. But you don't have to. It's gonna probably be cold in there.
So everybody, it is the next day after I had caffeine coffee, because I did not want to film that night because I wanted to see how it would impact my sleep, how it would impact my mood the next morning, how I feel. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I had amazing sleep. I'm gonna be straight up honest, I had amazing sleep. I don't know if it was because I had peak sleep, but the thing is, I didn't have a lot of peak sleep. I probably had about not even a quarter of a scoop, probably like 1/8 of a scoop, because I didn't even finish it. I didn't finish sipping on it, and so I still had amazing sleep with that. But one thing I did notice is I could not fall asleep. Yes, I was trying to get this podcast out and there for y'all, which was podcast 13, but because it wasn't working, it wasn't uploading because my camera, my actual computer storage was not working. The technology was not working the way I wanted. So maybe that was one reason I could not fall asleep. But also another reason is caffeine. Towards the late night after I got home from the coffee shop and I started unloading the groceries, you know what happened to me? Is I got this weird energy surge. I really did, and I really just started just being more energized. I started I had more energy towards the night, and I could not really fall asleep. Also, I don't know if this is because of the lack of sleep or it's just because of the grogginess of I had caffeine yesterday. But the thing is, I did not have a lot of caffeine yesterday. I had not a lot of caffeine. I probably had about 20, 30, maybe 50 milligrams of caffeine. I didn't drink a lot of my coffees, which is good, but I still had caffeine. I still noticed it right away, pretty much, about 10 to 15 minutes. But I just was like, oh my god, I have a lot more energy. I did notice that quick surge of energy, but I did notice an energy crash, and then I noticed an energy surge after that. I don't know if it's because of the caffeine, I don't know if it's because I ate, I don't know what, but I also had a super hard time focusing. I was super hyper focused on one thing, but then my mind would easily switch, and then I would be hyper focused on another thing. But the good thing about this hyper focusedness is that I was getting a lot of things done while I was doing that. But when my energy crashed, I had no motivation. I did not want to do that. And you know what most people do when they hit that energy crash from caffeine? They will look for more caffeine. They will take another caffeine pill. They will do something with more caffeine because they hit that energy crash, so they need more energy. And that's the only way they can do it with more caffeine, because they don't rely on food for energy. They rely on caffeine, which caffeine is not real energy. It's adrenaline rush at the end of the day. It's not real energy. It's a supplement basically that gives you energy, but it's not real energy. Once that energy wears off, you are going to feel like garbage because it's not real energy. While if you ate consistently throughout the day, you ate calories, it would actually give you more energy. So it's just kind of like a hit or miss. I don't truly know, because there's so many different things that can impact my productivity and can affect my sleep and impact my energy. There's so many different things, but that's just my experience. I did notice that today, I don't know if it, again, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I have caffeine, but I just feel out of place this morning. I really do. I feel tired, kind of. I don't really necessarily feel tired. I just feel out of place. I don't feel productive. I feel kind of like I'm just there. I'm just going through the motions. I don't quite know what I'm doing. I'm facing severe brain fog. I just do not feel like myself. Like, I just want to go back to sleep and then wake up the next morning, because I just don't feel like myself. So I don't know if it has to do with the caffeine or not, but that leads me to the question of the day, which the question of the day is, what do you notice when you have a lot more caffeine than normal? And that's the question of the day. I notice that I'm more jittery, more energized, more hyper focused on something. I have better bowel movements. My appetite is sometimes suppressed even, but it's all about what, I don't know. Everybody's different. Everybody reacts to caffeine and other things differently. So who really knows if caffeine actually did that to me? But I'm gonna get you the comment of the day, which the comment of the day goes to Evan Mongolius. He says, I don't have my phone on me, but I do know what the comment is. I think it says like, good morning, I have a question for y'all. What do you prefer, split shorts or normal shorts? And I prefer split shorts. I literally have them on right now. I got the orange ones, but also I got a box full of split shorts that I just ordered from BOA and Running Warehouse, but it's all by BOA. But the thing is, I just ordered another thing because I ordered a small. These are extra small. So what I'm going to do is actually compare the size. So with this BOA short, I'm going to try it on, and then with this version of the other BOA short, I'm going to try it on as well and see if it's like, if it feels the same and is the same and just feels like like the extra small fits better, the small fits better. So that's my take on split shorts. I have a lot. I now have a lot, and they all felt. But I love split shorts. But anyways, thanks for watching today's vlog. You can support the channel out on Patreon. Anyways, make sure you seek happiness, achieve goals, and find glory. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.